January 17th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 172 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Now, Mike, on the last episode, you said that you were scared to go to the casino.
Yes.
Because you'd been doing so well and you just knew that it was going to go sour.
Right.
So tell us what happened.
Well, it hasn't gone sour.
Oh, my gosh.
We are on such a tear.
It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously good.
Yeah, we just keep winning. And not just small wins.
Yeah, these are some big wins.
Wow.
Yeah, this new year. 2019 is our year.
Mm-hmm.
It has been good.
Oh, folks, I'll tell you, I tweeted out this picture. Well, we were playing at a table, and I actually left. I said, okay, I was up. I'm going to go play my free play. You were still down. So you said, well, I'm going to roll, right?
Right.
And so you rolled, and I went and played my free play, did other stuff. I came back. You were still rolling. You'd made, what, four sixes as points?
Yeah, I had a 6 as the point 4 times in a row and made them all.
And then, this was something else. You made a $10 hard 6 bet for everyone on the table.
For everyone on the table, 16 players.
And it hit, and everybody was all excited, and then it hit again.
And then it hit
twice.
Again. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And some people had already had a hard 6, so I just added 10 to their bet, but everyone got it. They were going crazy.
Oh, you should have heard it, folks. Everybody was going, Mike. And I wasn't involved in the roll, but it was fine because I had already won earlier. But wow, I mean,
it was a huge roll.
It just keeps going.
And I have to mention this, Mark. Mark, wants me to get some bet up to the max every time I play, and I did. I got the 6 up to the max.
And let's clarify that. You're saying Mark wants you to. On the drive up, you said that that's your goal now every time is to get at least one bet up to the max. So here's what happened. He had a $1,200 6. Which, good Lord, right? All right, it's a $1,200 6. And you turned to me and said, if this hits, I'm just going to go straight to $3,000, which is the max bet for a place bet on the 6 at Harris, Southern California. And sure enough, 6 hit, and then suddenly you're wavering.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to put another 400 out there. But you did. You went up to the max.
I went up to the max.
And then you 7'd out.
And it's funny because, after that huge long roll, I get to the max. And they flip over the first card, and it's a 3.
Like it's going to be another hard 6.
Another hard 6,
yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh my god, another hard 6!" And it was a 4.
Well, eventually this is going to end. We're riding the wave right now. We're really enjoying it.
And we're getting tons of free play and great ratings.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. We're getting good ratings, and so it just builds upon itself.
Yeah.
But it'll eventually, the floor will drop.
The shoe will land, and I'll be right underneath it.
Well, there's an interesting story that happened this week, and luckily it had a happy ending. When we first heard about this story, they were kind of in the middle of negotiations, but apparently a woman won a jackpot at MGM National Harbor. Her name's Cynthia Obi, and it was not life-changing money, but it was certainly, thousands of dollars, and certainly, would come in handy this time of year. Well, anyway, when the casino was filling out the paperwork, they wrote down her Social Security number wrong. They had 1 digit off. And as it turned out, the person whose number they did fill in apparently owed the state of Maryland child support.
Oh, gosh.
Right? So suddenly, it gets flagged and she doesn't get her jackpot.
Right. They're going to take the jackpot and pay her child support.
Yeah, that's right. And the casino, even though they knew they had made the mistake, they're saying, well, legally, we can't do anything at this point.
Right.
Which must have been so frustrating because they told her she had to sort it out with Maryland's Human Services Agency.
Yeah.
Which, she has...
Right. How do you go in and start explaining that? Well, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we were all prepared to be outraged. And it got a lot of attention in the media, luckily. And as it turned out, it got resolved and the casino paid her cash.
Good for MGM. They
eventually. I mean, maybe their hands were tied legally.
Right.
Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure.
They did give her a, $200 food voucher in the meantime?
Yeah, and some well drinks, too.
Nice.
That was nice.
That is nice. Good for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, just to play devil's advocate here.
All right.
She has to sign that paperwork.
Yeah, I guess.
And
but,
well, we do when we win
Yeah.
a fire bet, right?
yeah, we do.
We have to sign it. And they always ask me, and I took note of this the last time a few weeks ago when we signed one. They asked me, is it all correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is your name spelled right? And my social's on there and everything. So,
It's
but she was probably
I'm
excited
sure she was
and,
so excited.
just like, oh yeah.
And looked at it quickly and, oh yeah, that's me.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
that could be.
So that's just a lesson, not to fault her, but you should check all that.
That is
stuff.
a good thing to keep in mind if you ever are filling out paperwork that,
right.
tax paperwork
Sure.
or any kind of paperwork at the casino. Make sure all the information's correct. Yeah, that's true. Also, this last week, Derek Stevens and his brother Greg announced the name of the casino that they are building on the site of the old Las Vegas club, and it's going to be called Circa. And when we first heard this name, we're thinking, we're not so sure about it, right? Circa.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if you say Circa Las Vegas, that rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're talking about, in the old days, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
Circa Las Vegas.
Yeah. So it definitely does roll off the tongue. And if you go to vitalvegas.com, Scott has put up some renderings of the casino and a link to a commercial that they put together.
That commercial's fabulous.
Yeah.
It really
makes the place look great. And one of the highlights of the new casino is going to be the sports book. And downtown, is lacking as far as sports books.
Right.
Probably the best sports book is Golden Nugget right now. And it's certainly nothing special.
No, it's nothing special.
Yeah.
And it's not that huge, really.
So that's going to be a real diamond at this place. Is the sports book's going to have the biggest screen of any sports book, and so
if it looks anything like the commercial, it looks awesome.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to that. The completion date is late in 2020. Hopefully, they'll be able to do it. I'll tell you what. Also, on the latest Vital Vegas podcast, Scott interviews Derek Stevens, and it's a great interview. He's got a lot of great information about, the process and what goals he has for the property. So definitely looking forward to that.
Well, maybe they'll have the grand opening, for the summit that year.
For the summit that year?
Yeah.
That's probably pretty ambitious, but that would be very good.
Well,
if there's a summit
late
next
October,
year.
that's,
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Well, I've got a poker story for you. And Mike, I have not told you this story.
Okay.
This happened last night at our home poker game. You weren't there. But I haven't told it to you because I wanted to get your reaction just on the show. And also, if I'm not explaining it correctly, you can kind of clarify.
All right.
All right.
So,
so
be good.
Last night, we're playing a high-low poker game. And just very quickly, a high-low game basically means that the person with the best poker hand will split the pot with the person with the worst poker hand. There's more to it than that, but that's basically what it is, right? And in this particular game, we were playing high-low declare, which means that right before showdown, you have to declare if you're going for the high part of the pot, the best hand, or you're going for the low part of the pot. The low hand.
Or in this case, could you go for both?
You could go for both ways, but let's not get into that because in this particular story, it didn't come up. So when you declare, that means if you declare high, you're only going for high. So you will be competing against anybody else who has also declared high. Same with the low side. If you declare low, you're only going against the people who have declared low. So if for example, you declare and you're the only one who's declared low, you automatically win the low end of the pot. Right, doesn't matter what you have. Because there's nobody else going for the low.
And for people who aren't poker players, it's a major point in high-low games.
Yes,
when you have to declare. Yeah,
yes.
If cards read themselves, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But when you declare, because sometimes you're guessing that these other two people that you're up against, there's three of you, they both look high.
Yeah, so
I don't have a very good low hand, but I'm going to go low because
the other people are going high. Right? So there's definitely some strategy there. Okay, so we're playing this game, and it is a wild card game. There are some down cards, there are some up cards, there are community cards. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the game because I don't think it's important. I think it'll muddle the story. But anyway, we're playing this game with wild cards, and I have 4 9s. Again, wild card game. I have 4 9s, and they're showing.
Okay.
Meaning that
everybody can see
that I have 4 9s.
All right.
Now, in a wild card game, 4 9s is not a guaranteed winner by any means.
No.
Because wild cards typically...
Because 4 of a kind is very common, and 9s
common.
are not that high.
They're not that... So I'm thinking, I need to be pretty aggressive here with my nines.
Right.
And maybe even try to convince people that maybe I have 5 nines.
You might have a wild card
because
they can't see.
We play with wild card games that a 5 of a kind is a possible hand, and it would beat a straight flush, even a royal flush.
Right. Okay.
So I'm being very aggressive here. So it comes down to showdown, and it's just me and 2 other players.
All right.
So the way that you declare which way you're going, high or low, in our game, is you take chips beneath the table where nobody can see, and you put 1 or 2 chips in your hand, in your fist, basically, to indicate which way you're going. You put 1 chip in if you're going to go low, and you put 2 chips in if you're going to go high.
Okay.
And then you bring your closed fist up above the table, and once everybody's fists are above the table, you open your hand, and everybody sees which way you've gone.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, I hope nobody goes high, because then I'll be beat, right? Because all I have is the 4 nines and it's showing.
Okay.
All right, so we take our chips under the table. We come up. Again, there are 3 of us, me and 2 other people. We open our hands. All of us have gone high.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We have all gone high.
I thought for sure you were going to say somebody had no chips in their hand.
Something they did wrong.
They saw everyone else's and they had no chips in their hand.
No, so I'm thinking, oh, doggone it. Somebody's got a higher 4 of a kind or a straight flush or something like that.
Right.
And so everybody turns over their cards. I had the best hand.
Wow.
With 4 nines. The 2 other players could see that I had 4 nines, and they still declared high. And I was thinking, okay, I could see maybe one person making that mistake. No, 2 people.
Now, what did they have?
They the way the board went, I'm not going to go into it. They both also had 4 nines, but they could see I had an ace kicker.
Oh,
my
okay.
ace was exposed. I had 4 nines and an ace, and they had 4 nines with worse kickers. So I scooped the pot. Nobody went low, so I scooped. It was showing. So if anybody asks, Mark, how are you able to keep your gambling stash in the positive? That's how.
That's how. Oh my God. So what did they think you were going to do?
See, this is, and I don't know what was going through their head, but this is a good lesson for poker players. Don't just be fixated on your hand.
Right.
Because I think that's what happened. They're both lucky. Oh, I've got 4 nines. Well, I've got to go high.
Right.
And they didn't even look over to see that I already had 4 nines showing with an ace kicker.
Yeah.
So I think they were just fixated on their hand.
Both had 4 nines too.
I know.
I mean, one of them, that guy had 4, jacks or something.
I mean, as an example, say in Hold'em, right?
Right.
Let's say there are 4 hearts out on the board at the end. And you've been playing pocket kings and you don't have a king of hearts. Well, if somebody, maybe 2 other people suddenly start getting aggressive, you've got to give up your hand. Yeah, you've got a pair, but suddenly, there's a possibility of a flush out there. So it's something you don't just fixate on your hand. You have to see the situation.
And we've been saying that for years because we used to play with a guy who that was his biggest flaw by far. Mm-hmm. His biggest flaw as a poker player was that he fixated on his hand. Mm-hmm. And never looked at other people's hands. Mm-hmm, right. And we've said that for years. You've got to know what everyone else has.
Kind of the opposite. There were several times where he would fold and we'd say, what are you doing? Nobody can beat you.
Right.
Look around the table.
Yeah, look around the table. You've got the best hand.
Well, I've just got a pair of 7s. Yeah, we know, but look around the table. So, yeah.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Donald.
Hey, gents. Donald calling from Northern Virginia here. Second call to you guys. Heard you play my last one on the air. Thought I'd follow up really quick. I appreciate that. So you'd mentioned something I had mentioned about Penn Gaming not having their rewards program kind of spread across all their properties. It turns out, and I don't know whether this is true with other companies or not, but what they do is you have a home property, and I think you might have mentioned this with the Caesars program too. But they have a home property. So my home property is Charlestown Races. So you get all your comps and stuff there. And then when you go to other properties, your marquee card works, but you get nothing out of it comp-wise. And they just started a new program too, which they claim that your comps and everything else are going to actually be reciprocated through all 35 of their properties. Nonetheless, I thought I would call with that information, and also really quick, I read a book over the holidays, which is very interesting, written by a former NFL player and a craps expert. The book, it's about 85 pages, something like that, 100 pages, not very long. It's fictional. It's not really fictional, but it kind of is. It's called The Greatest Craps Guru in the World. And it lays out a strategy throughout the whole book. One guy is teaching the other. It's actually a very interesting book, some good information about how to actually make money playing craps. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. Hope you had a good holiday and so on. Happy New Year. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Donald. We weren't familiar with this book.
No,
but,
never heard of it. I've heard of Mark Jackson.
Yeah,
actually.
so he was. Yeah, Mark Jackson was the co-author on this. He was a wide receiver with the Denver Broncos.
Now, I wonder how he got interested in craps. I'd like to hear that story.
Yeah, so
what possessed him to write a book about craps?
Well, we'll have to take a look. I haven't read through it, but it looks like maybe he is in the book, but it's semi-fiction. It's fictional, but he is in the book as himself.
Right.
So yeah, it might be worth checking out.
All right, yeah. Well, it's a quick read. It sounds like.
Yeah, and then that's good about Penn National. First of all, it's bad that they weren't letting you take advantage of comps at other properties. So hopefully, they are changing that.
That's weird. If one company owns something, you think it'd be good. Be like, going to a McDonald's and not being able to buy a Big Mac at some place.
All right, I guess that's a good enough example, although I can't think of any circumstance where you wouldn't be able to buy a Big Mac. Maybe you couldn't use a gift card. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Use a gift card. Right. Or get a McRib. They don't all have McRibs.
Well, and not all the time. Mike's a big McRib guy.
I love McRibs.
Send your cards and letters to Dr. Mike. I can't bring myself. Once every 5 years, I'll eat a McRib and I'll think, this is why I haven't eaten one for 5 years.
Well, what don't you like?
I don't. What is there to like?
Pork.
Pork pressed into the. All right, we're gonna hear it again from Donald a little bit later on. Next up is Adam.
Hey guys, it's Adam from Connecticut. Just want to call and give you a quick report. Normally I've been going to MGM since it's a lot closer to me than Mohegan or Foxwoods. But a friend of mine gave me a ticket to fight night tonight, so he and I went down there. It's a Saturday night right now. Craps was terrible. Some of the worst craps I've seen. And it's kind of funny. I know that I shouldn't be superstitious or anything. But I find that whenever I'm at Mohegan and I'm playing on a $10 table, I do awful. MGM, I play the $10 tables. I've been doing really well up there. Probably a smaller sample size, but I'm doing really, really well on the $10 tables up at MGM. I've never had luck on a $10 table at Mohegan. $5 tables I do okay. $10 tables awful. So tonight was just a slow bleed. I had one good roll. My friend Steve had one good roll. And then we just kind of slowly bled it back. Silver lining is that I did find a number of $15 tables at 3-2 for blackjack, which is phenomenal. For a Saturday night, 3-2 blackjack, $15 a hand. It was quite a few. I managed to get on one and recoup some of those losses. All in all, we played total for 10 hours or so, a couple breaks for the fight and food, and I only lost $100, so I guess I can't really complain with that. Anyway, I'll be back down at Mohegan on the 25th for a bourbon tasting with my dad. I'm going to hopefully show him the ropes on the craps table. Hopefully we can find a $5 craps table, because I do not want to be playing on a $10 table at Mohegan. All right. You guys have a good day.
Okay, so $10 tables at Mohegan.
Yeah.
Now, you and our craps experience at Mohegan was dismal.
Was not good.
It was terrible.
Yes.
I wonder if that was the problem.
Maybe we were at a $10 table.
We were probably at a $10 table.
Yeah, I don't remember, but we probably were.
Probably were. So avoid the $10 tables at Mohegan Sun. That's just smart gambling.
Yeah, we should have just went straight to the 25.
Yeah, right.
Now, I'll tell you what. Now, on a serious note.
All right.
We do like to play at higher limit tables because they're less crowded.
Right. We kind of like a fast game.
We like a fast game. Sure. We kind of like the pace of the game moving along. Mm-hmm. You get on a lower limit table, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of prop bets usually. Right. And so when something hits, it takes a while to pay and kind of slows the rhythm of the game down.
Okay.
Now, whether that really influences or not.
Well, it doesn't, Mike.
Yeah, I know it doesn't. But we're happier that way.
Okay, that's fine.
So
yeah.
we're in a better mood even if we're losing on a table like
Now,
that.
I would say that is true for our weekly trips up to Harrah's.
Definitely.
But if we're on a trip to Vegas or we're in a meetup with listeners or something, well, then we'd prefer to be at a low-limit table with a lot of
so
people
everyone
there.
can play.
We're all playing and we're socializing, and it's sort of a different experience.
Yeah,
so,
that depends. But it's just like when we're up at Harrah's, we know everybody there.
That's true,
all
right?
the same people, and they know that we're going to be over at the $25 table.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're going to hear from Adam again also later in the episode. Next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Marcus from Texas. I just wanted to call and tell you all about a recent trip to Osage Casino in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, I know y'all deal with the ante in Oklahoma, so I just thought I'd call and tell you all about this. The Osage in Tulsa on certain days of the week have a promo where they run blackjack with no ante. And I thought this was weird because I thought it was a law that they had to have an ante in Oklahoma. And I was just going to call and let y'all know about that. But the blackjack game is played different at the Osage. They give you a free double down on 9, 10, and 11, a free split, and the catch is that all 22s push. Whether you win or lose, all 22s push from the dealer. And I just want to say that I love the show, and I hope y'all check into that. Thank you.
So the game that you were playing, Marcus, is called Free Bet Blackjack.
Correct.
It's a variation on blackjack. And just like you said, basically the casino pays for your double downs and your splits. And the catch is if the dealer draws to 22, busts with a 22, everybody's hand is a push.
Right.
So I suspect that that's not the only blackjack game at Osage Casino, that you just happen to come across a free bet blackjack game.
Right. They probably have standard.
I suspect they have regular blackjack there as well too.
Yeah.
So, but free bet blackjack is a great game. I love it. It's one of my favorite variations, if not my favorite variation on the game.
So now that if they have some tables where they do not collect an ante.
Right. So this is very common with a lot of Oklahoma casinos. They are supposed to take an ante from players, but sometimes they'll run a promotion where they're basically saying, we'll pay your ante.
Right.
So
they still have to pay the ante.
The casino is covering it. Right. And sometimes it's special days. Sometimes if you're a certain tier level, they will do it. So it's something you want to watch out for. But the ante is still getting paid. It's just sometimes it might be the casino that's actually paying it. Yeah.
So maybe some casinos in the Las Vegas area could take this to heart, and they could have a promotion where they pay 3-2 on blackjack.
Oh, I don't think they'd go that far, Mike.
Yeah, no, just pay 3-2. We'll eat the difference.
No,
that'd be their promo to get people in.
Be reasonable. All right. All right. Let's hear from Big Al.
Hi guys, Big Al from Canada. Got a little trip coming up to Seneca Casino, Niagara, my favorite casino. On the 21st of January, got a little extra cash in my pocket. I'd like to make a couple of crap bets for you boys. So if you guys want to let me know what you want, hard ways or pass the line or whatever, let me know. I'll put a $10 bet down for each of you, and I'll get back to you the following weekend with the results. Enjoy your podcast. Take care, and thanks for all the good information. Talk to you later, and good luck on the crap tables.
Oh, thanks, Al. That's very nice. I was thinking about this, and based on our personalities, I was thinking maybe I should ask him to make the most mundane bet at the craps table. Is that just the pass line?
Yeah, for you, pass line. For me, hard 6.
Okay, I think that's reasonable. For me, pass line. For you, hard 6.
Watch like 3 hard 6s come up.
Right, but the point's never made. Right? That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Al. All right, next we've got Seth with an international report.
Hey guys, what's up? Happy New Year's. This is Seth from Columbus. Over the holidays, I had a chance to play at the Gran Casino in Madrid. It's in a nice part of town, nice shopping district part of town. It's in a beautiful old building. Hard security check to get inside, checking passports. Locals have to pay a fee to get in. For us with a foreign passport, the fee was 1 penny. They were gracious enough to comp us that 1 penny fee. They actually printed us a paper receipt for it, though, so I got that going for me. Once inside, several floors of gaming across one kind of beautiful big central staircase. The thing I was most stoked to get into was some single zero roulette. Minimums on single zero roulette were €2.50, but unlike here in the States, that €2.50 is the minimum bet inside or outside. It's not like that can be split apart. So that's the smallest denomination one can play. So if you're playing 10 to 12 spots on the inside, at €2.50, you can get up to a $40, $50 bet US pretty quickly. So it can be a pretty pricey venture. But again, with that kind of reduced house edge, you could probably long play that for quite a bit of time. On the blackjack side of things, was really dim. Continuous shuffle machine. It is a 3-2 game, and the minimums are super low. €2.50 at several tables. But where the scene really fell apart is that every command you're making, although you're getting dealt real cards, every command you're making is on a 7-inch touchscreen pad built into the table in front of you. So there's no interaction happening. And in fact, the dealer themselves, they're not even, tabulating your cards. They're just doing red light, green light on a pad that's in front of them in terms of whether they're hitting or not. So it's akin to playing an offshore live dealer game on your phone or on your own iPad at home. I mean, that was a scene that I split pretty quickly. I would have loved to have played more single zero roulette, but even on that side of things, the general vibe is that it seemed like there was no fun being had in this casino. The game floor was totally quiet. Most people playing were locals, and they were just there to get down some action and not in a fun way. It actually kind of had a bit of like a desperate vibe, despite this beautiful old building we were in. There's no free booze coming around, so there's no incentive to do that. All in all, I mean, I was in and out of that place in 25 minutes. So, wish I had a more fun report, but at least I can give you a little scene there, and maybe some listeners will be guided elsewhere in their international gaming. Have a great 2019, guys. Be well. Peace.
Yeah, thanks, Seth.
It's funny because when I think of Spain, I think of party atmosphere, right?
Okay.
I don't know why. I just think of Spain as being, a country where people are out to have a good time.
Sure. Okay.
So I would think a casino would be lively and entertaining.
Yeah,
it sounded like a morgue.
Maybe it's hard to say. Culturally, things are different around the world, obviously.
Right.
But it's like the guys on MacauCast have talked about how in Macau, the gambling is serious. You don't hear a lot of whooping it up and cheering.
Asian people are serious about gambling,
and they're also they're not drinking at the tables like we are here. That probably has something to do with it. But it's just this is focused, and maybe that's the way it is in Spain, or maybe Seth was just there when on just a terrible day when everybody was losing and trying to make their money back. So who knows about Spain? We don't know what we're talking about.
Well, no, I've never been to Spain. But now we'll ask my brother.
Okay, we'll see if he's been many times. And maybe he's been to different casinos there and can tell us if it's
tell us what it's like.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Brandon from Colorado here. Just passing along a trip report from the first weekend of the new year. My wife and I went out to Vegas to catch the Ice Vegas Invitational Tournament. It was a gathering of a couple of college hockey teams for a tournament at T-Mobile Arena. And while the college hockey teams weren't exactly household names in the hockey community, my wife and I are both Air Force fans, so we decided to pay them a little visit, and the hockey was great. I can only hope that Vegas gets to experience what a lot of us already know, which is that college hockey is absolutely amazing. As for the gambling, my wife and I both stayed at the Bellagio, and we absolutely love it there. Great staff, and you really can't beat the location on the Strip. We did do some gambling, and like Dr. Mike, my gambling for 2019 has started off on a very good note, which is fortunate because 2018 kind of finished on a sour note. So I'm really happy that I started off the year on the right foot. Played craps at the Bellagio. Dealers were absolutely fantastic. Normally, I'm a pass line max odds and 2 come bets, both with max odds type player, but like I said, 2018 kind of bit me towards the end of the year, so I played way more conservatively than I normally do. And I did pass line max odds and then just a couple of place bets. And I ended up winning about $400 over the course of our stay, so I was pretty happy with that. I did hit a 2-way hard 8 twice in a row, so that was pretty cool. The dealers were pretty happy with that. And I hit an all small for a couple of guys that were betting it. They were also betting don't pass, so they were happy regardless. One question I do have for you guys is, what do you feel constitutes a, quote, hot roll? We were discussing that at the table. We were trying to decide whether it was based on time or based on amount of throws. Just curious what your guys' take on that is. Anyway, absolutely love what you guys do. Please keep it up. Looking forward to a great 2019. Thanks.
What do you think, Dr. Mike? What constitutes a hot roll?
Well, it's funny. Brandon brings this up because my wife and I were just talking about this the other night.
Okay.
After one of our wins, when I got home,
Mm-hmm.
she had two questions for me. She said, what constitutes a hot roll?
Mm-hmm.
And number two, what constitutes a big win?
Okay.
And so I thought about that for a while. And as far as the big win goes, I think if you double your money, your buy-in.
So if you bought in for $300, you're cashing out for $600 or $900?
You're $600.
Okay, you've doubled
So
your
doubled. You're leaving with twice as much money as you brought.
Right.
I consider that a good win.
Okay.
And if you've tripled or more, it's a big win.
Okay. All right.
So that was my definition. So she's like, well, that's hard to do if you buy in for 5,000.
Yeah, well,
Right? I said, yeah. Well,
not
then,
if you bet big.
Yeah. Well, then I have to win 10,000 to get a good win. And, I have
A
to
big win.
15,000
Oh,
to
I
get,
see.
a,
Yeah,
to
right,
get a
right.
big win. Right.
Yep.
So I said, it just depends on your perspective. Right.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Now, as far as good rolls,
Hot roll.
a hot roll, I consider a hot roll. So let's say you went inside or you covered every number with a place bet.
Mm-hmm.
When you've won every number twice, you're on a hot roll.
That's a hot roll.
Now,
Okay.
it doesn't mean you had to roll 2 10s, but if you rolled like, 6 6s and several 8s,
Okay.
and you got your money you invested back plus again,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is a hot roll.
When I was thinking about this, I was thinking a hot roll is if the shooter rolls at least 20 times.
Okay.
Now, obviously,
Because
it
the
could
average
be,
shooter's going to roll.
it's about 8.5
8.5,
per shooter, right?
So you're saying at least double.
More than double.
More
So
than
I would
double.
say 20 rolls. Now, of course, if that's 23s in a row,
Right.
that's not a great roll. And so it'll depend, right? Are you
Yeah.
making points
See,
along
my
the way?
idea
It's
of a hot roll is based on how much money I've won.
okay, sure.
Not how many times the guy rolled,
Mm-hmm.
because a guy can roll like 15 times, but if he had 2 11s and a 3 and a couple 12s in there, he might have only had a hot roll for me.
Well, that's the thing. A hot roll for you. Well, you went inside. Well, all I did was I have the pass line, and it's a 4.
Right.
And he never made the
it.
point.
It's a terrible
Whereas
roll.
here's another one where a guy, all he's doing is making points.
Right.
Right. So, but anyway,
I think
those are our opinions.
I think
on
it depends on the money.
Yeah.
Now I want to say this too about Brandon and college sports.
Oh, okay.
College sports are by far,
Yeah.
the most exciting, best thing there is in sports.
I worked with a guy years ago who loved college hockey. Loved it.
All college sports. And here's why. Because they're not playing for money.
Mm-hmm, sure.
They're playing to win. They're playing for the love of the game. And, sure, there's some guy who thinks, well, I'm going to go on to a pro, but most of those guys aren't.
Yeah.
And most of them are playing just because they love to play the game.
I tend to agree with you, even though in some college sports you can have some really lopsided scores.
Sure.
Sure. But
in pros, and now this may sound jaded, but I always think, and like the Chargers who got blown away this last weekend.
Oh, is that right?
Against New England.
I don't know. I didn't hear about this. First time hearing about it.
I always think, sure, they want to win because they're competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They're athletes. Every athlete's competitive. They want to win. But when they go home that night and they just got blown away, they sit on the couch and, well, I make $20 million a year.
Okay.
So I'm okay that we lost.
Yeah, certain amount of truth to that.
When you're in college sports, you go home, and I played some sports in college.
Mm-hmm.
You go home and you're pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel terrible
Yeah.
because you lost. You want to win.
And you've got a term paper due.
Right. Yeah. And you have no sleep. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be pissed in college.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love college sports. And I don't know if you saw this, just as an aside, I know this has nothing to do with the podcast, but there was a gal at UCLA gymnastics.
Oh, I heard about this, but I didn't see it.
Just recently got a perfect score, a 10 on the floor exercise. I watched her on, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And something like that, it's just, there's somebody who's great at what they do. They're not getting paid to dime.
Yeah.
And she goes out and, throws down a perfect score.
Yeah.
So that's why college hockey is very fun. Hockey's fun.
Yeah, sure. It's
Actually.
exciting.
Yeah.
Fast.
And I was just talking to a patient yesterday, and this is interesting too. He was saying he's watching so much more hockey on TV now Because with new TVs and high def and everything,
compared to the olden days where you couldn't see the puck.
It's so much easier to see the puck. He's like, I really enjoy hockey now. He's an older guy. He said, I used to shy away from it because I couldn't see the puck.
Yeah.
But now with high def and everything, you really do see them. So there you go. Hockey.
Right. Very good. All right, let's hear from Keggers.
Hey guys, this is Keggers from Southern California. We met a few weeks ago at Harrah's. I moved out here recently and got the chance to meet you guys at Harrah's on a Friday night, and really appreciate the time you took to chat and catch up, and definitely look forward to seeing you there in the future. Question, played card craps here in California for a few weeks now, and there's different styles, and I want to get your opinion on the different styles. You can certainly explain it better than I can. I know you have on the show before, but the Harrah's style where there's 2 rows of 6 cards that are randomized every roll versus the other style that I've seen and played with, like at Pachanga, where there's 1 roll of 6 cards face up that are randomized after every shooter. I certainly prefer the face-up style with 1 row of 6 cards face up, and it doesn't change until the next shooter, since you can still cheer on the dice, and the dice values have a number that you know of and can confirm, versus the Harrah's style, which you're really just staring at the cards and waiting to see what cards are flipped over. Curious what you prefer, and also curious if there are any mathematical differences in edge. I'm sure if there are, I'm sure it's minute, but I didn't know if you knew of any difference in the chances of a big red coming out on those. So appreciate the show. Definitely see you guys at Harrah's in the future, and talk to you again.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you too, Keggers.
Yes.
And it's funny because since we met you, Mike several times has said, well, where's Keggers? he moved here, right? And he's relatively close to Harrah's. How come we haven't seen him since that first time?
You're supposed to be there every week. I mean,
that's what Dr. Mike's saying, Keggers. So get your butt in gear. Yeah, as far as card craps in California go, the casinos have different ways of doing it.
Right.
The one that Keggers was describing about Pachanga, where for every shooter, they basically spread out 6 cards face up, and the numbers on the dice correspond to the cards.
Yeah.
Each number on the dice.
So spot 1 is, the 1 on the die, and 2. And
that's probably the most common. And I think it is true that most people prefer that because then you can see what combinations of the dice you need to roll certain numbers.
Right.
And again, if you're confused by what we're saying, you have to kind of see it to understand. But
okay, and here's why I don't like it.
Okay.
I like Harrah's better. And honestly, now we've played plenty the other way. At Barona, they play like that, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
We should mention statistically, it's the same.
Oh, so yeah, getting to that question, maybe there's some casino somewhere in California where they've got some goofy system to do it.
Yeah.
But in most cases, mathematically, it's exactly the same. Exactly
and
the
it's
same.
exactly the same as if you just rolled 2 dice. There's just one more step involved.
Yes, correct.
But here's why I like Harrah's. Okay, because so when they flip out those cards at like Pachanga, I look at it right away. If he rolls a 5-4, that's a 7 out.
Right.
Right.
And
so when the dice are rolled, I know the combinations for 7
that
outs.
are going to make a 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I see it, as soon as the dice land,
it's
7.
almost worse than actually seeing a 7 on the dice in Las Vegas.
Right. Exactly.
I kind of know what you're saying.
It's almost worse. I'm not kidding. And when they have the cards upside down, it's like, okay, you see the dice, it's a 5-4. And then you wait, and a lot of the dealers will turn over 1
and
before
then the other. Right.
So they turn over the first one, and it's like, a 3, and you're thinking, come on, hard 6, come on, hard 6. And, it could be a 7 out. It could be a 9. It could be, whatever, right? It could be a 4. But, in your head, you're hoping for that. So you have that moment of hope. And I'm the optimistic one who's always hoping that it's the good thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't see
interesting.
I don't see a 3 and think, 7 out.
Really? I didn't know you were an optimist. That's news to me.
So I'm looking for the positive side, and I like that.
Okay, good.
Because I just hate knowing what 7 out's going to be.
All right. All right.
Well, at least in Vegas, it's a 7.
Yeah, a 7 is a 7 out in Vegas.
7 is a 7
it's
out.
Very clear.
It's very clear. Here it's like, okay, 5-4 is going to be an out, 3-2 is going to be an out, and and you're like, so you're paranoid, like, for God's sake, don't roll a 9.
Sure, yes. I know what you're saying. All right, let's get another call from Donald.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Donald from Northern Virginia again. I was calling because I just listened to the new episode. Fantastic as always. And it reminded me of a story I forgot to tell you, and I'll keep it short. So as a regular out at Charlestown in West Virginia, met quite a few really cool people. And one of them, I'll leave his name redacted, is a vet who goes out there a lot, lives pretty close there, and a super nice guy. And I started to find out some stuff about his history there, and he's won a lot of money there, and he's won jackpot. And he told me that he's been playing off of the casino's money for quite a long time, and he has a ritual when they have double point day or something like that, that he goes to a 3-card poker table, puts down roughly $4,020. That's $20 in tips on 3-card, plays all 4 bets, including the 6 card, and just plays 20 hands. So $200 a hand and $20 in tips, and he stops after 20 hands. So the second time he did it, I happened to be there, and I was like, I got to see this. So I sat there and watched him, and he lost like $30 first time he did it. First time I watched him. Second time he did it recently, he won quite a bit more, closer to $1,500-$1,600. So it's fun to watch. But he literally stops after 20 hands, and that's it. Gets up, walks away. It's fun to see discipline, actually, because not a lot of people in casinos have discipline. But anyway, thought I'd pass it along. Love the show. Catch you guys later.
Okay, so this guy won a big jackpot.
Right.
And then he's just entertaining himself basically for the rest of his life, apparently,
by playing 20
being
hands.
very disciplined and going.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you, Dr. Mike.
Yes.
How big a jackpot would you have to win where you could be comfortable just gambling at the casino for the rest of your life on that money?
God. I don't know that there's a number.
Oh, boy. No number. No jackpot is high enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I won the lottery for like, 350 million,
yeah,
that'd probably be enough.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that'd probably be enough.
Okay, so your answer is $350 million.
Yeah, I'm going to go with $350 million.
Okay, very good.
So now I have to shoot for that. Boy, I'm going to have to get a lot of numbers up to the max.
Yeah, 2019's been a good year, but not that good. You're going to have to really... All right, last call. We're hearing from Adam again.
Hey guys, it's Adam from Connecticut. Just wanted to tell you kind of a weird story from a trip I had the night to MGM Springfield. I was on the craps table, $10 craps table. Doing pretty well, up and down, but overall I was up for the night. This guy comes to the table and he drops $5,000 in cash, and he wants all black chips. This guy was one of the craziest people I've ever seen play craps, and I don't mean crazy by the bets, I mean crazy by his psyche. He was just nuts. He was telling the stick man, move the dice, move the dice, move the dice. He wasn't letting the dealers pay out any of their bets. He wanted the dice immediately. And he drew the attention of some, what I can only assume to be some higher ups from security. They were guys in suits that just magically appeared in the pit, and they were watching him. He was throwing, he would grab the dice and throw it. He actually had a very, very good roll. I made a lot of money on his roll. And he basically paid everybody at the end of his roll to get the dice right back. So when it came to me, I was going to roll right before him. When they kept moving the dice down, he would throw them money. I was the last one, and he threw me $50 and said, you know what I want? So I said, I'll take free $50 any day of the week. Passed him the dice, and he had an immediate 7 out, and I kind of laughed because I played the come bet after the come out roll. So I made my money back, or part of my money back, on his bad roll. Then he angrily just picked up all his chips, and then he walked to the next table, which was a $15 table, and started doing the same thing. It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen at the craps table, but it gave us all a good laugh. And hey, I got a free $50. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.
It just doesn't seem fun.
Yeah.
And, people gamble for different reasons.
I wished I was on that table. I would have said, yeah, you want them? 500.
Yeah, really.
If you really need them that bad, $500.
Otherwise, I'm rolling.
Yeah, otherwise I'll roll. You deal with it.
Yeah, not all of us can say that, Dr. Mike. I'd probably take the $50.
I probably would too, but it'd be fun to see his reaction. Yeah, 500. I'll
yeah, really see what he does.
See what he does.
Negotiate it.
Yeah. No, you say that, and then when he looks at you like, I'm not giving you 500. Okay, I'll take the 50. You go ahead and roll. And then just bet the don't.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to a gambling scene. Now, Dr. Mike, you've gotten quite a reputation here for playing craps and roulette at the same time.
Yeah, and I don't think we've said this, but they moved the roulette table virtually next to the craps table.
Yeah, it's actually easier for you now to
I can actually sit in one chair and without getting up, make bets on both
just turn
tables.
around. Yeah. Well, this clip then is for you. Normally, we use scenes from movies instead of television shows simply because movies are more accessible. It's easy to get a hold of to watch a movie than it is a TV show. But this clip was just too good to pass up. It was brought to our attention by Mary and Rosina, and it's from The Lucy Show, which was Lucille Ball's follow-up to I Love Lucy. Right? Ran from 1962 to 1968. And the premise is Lucy plays a widow named Lucy Carmichael. And most of the episodes, especially the early ones, revolve around her and her friend Vivian, played by Vivian Vance, who was Ethel on I Love Lucy, kind of following their misadventures.
Right.
So in this episode, Lucy and Vivian are in Las Vegas, but they have very little money. So they pretend to be high rollers in order to get free tickets to all the Las Vegas shows that they want to go see.
They're trying to scam the casino to get freebies.
Yeah, and at the beginning they're acting like they're high rollers, like, "Oh, give me a $10,000 marker," and Vivian saying, "No,
don't give her any more."
So anyway, they convince the casino manager that they're high rollers and they get all these free tickets and everything. So now in the scene that we're actually going to listen to, a real high roller has been introduced to Lucy. And he convinces her to roll the dice at the craps table, seeing as she's supposedly this big gambler.
Lucky, and she's very lucky, supposedly.
Right. So let's listen to this clip.
Put it on now. Any claps. Eight's the point, any claps.
That's it. Oh, here we are, folks. Now we got a real game in a roll. Get your money down.
Get your money
All
down.
right, little lady.
You want to hold that for me, darling?
Bets are up.
There you are.
Oh.
Let him go. Let him
Get your
go.
money down now. Big
All right
Ace.
now,
Heel,
everybody
come
ready? All right now.
Yeah, she rolled him off the table in typical Lucy style. Right?
Yeah.
Coming out.
Great sense of humor this little lady's got. Here we are now. Coming out.
I'll hit way down there now. Everybody look out. Here we go. There, what did I get?
11. 11.
Lady over here, 11.
One away from boxcar.
Yes, sir, and that's the winner. That's the winner.
It's the winner? Oh.
No, let it ride, honey. Let it ride.
That's a good idea. Let it ride. Everybody let it ride.
Here we go.
Because that's the way to make money.
Do it the same way again.
The same way again.
Same way again.
All right. Okay, there you are. What is it? What did I get?
11 is the winner. Is the winner. We'll add it up and let him ride. All right.
You want the same thing again?
Same thing again, honey.
All right, and everybody's letting it ride now.
Here we go.
What did it get? What did I get?
7.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kelster.
She's sorry for a winner. What a sense of humor. Let it ride.
7 the winner.
Here we go.
There's a lot of winners around here.
Here we go.
Well, now, say, Mr. Kelstrom, how would you like to play over there and play my lucky number? I have a 19 that I feel is very lucky.
Little lady, if that's what you want, here it is. Put
Why
this
don't
on
you
19
Put
for the
that on
lady.
19
Yes, ma'am.
and spin that little ball, and here we go.
All right.
Okay.
Coming out now.
What did I get? What did I get?
Number 10.
Number 10.
That's
it.
Number 10. Play it the hard way.
now.
Play 10 the hard way. That's where all the big money is. The
10
hard
the
way.
hard way, the lady says. and we're
Everybody
10
should play the hard way.
Okay.
Get your money down.
All right, don't let those dice get cold.
19.
Number 19. 19's the winner.
Number 19 won. Can we play it again?
Play it again. Same bet on number
Same bet on
19.
19.
All right, honey, don't let those dice get cold.
Spin the ball. I won't let it get
Here we go.
cold.
All right,
Now,
10 the hard way.
we want 10 the hard way. Is that right? What do we got? What do we got?
And 10.
19.
19 won again.
Want to play it again?
Yes, play it again.
Play it again. The
Play
same bet.
19
Stack
again.
those chips.
What
Let's
are we
go.
doing now? Here we go.
Here we're coming out with a new number on
Now, we
it.
want another new number.
New
Now,
number.
what did I
New number now.
get?
Here she
What did I get?
comes.
What did I get?
Point is 9.
9 is the point.
Play it the hard way. Play it the hard way.
What I said to you, but the hard way is the easy way for this little lady. All right, get your money down.
All right, put your money down. 9.
All right, let's stack up those chips. Honey, you're wonderful.
Can we play it again?
Okay, let's
Play
do it.
19 again?
Play 19 again, the lady says. Anything she
All
wants.
right, your point
Here
is
we
9.
go. 9.
Look out.
9's a point.
What is it?
9.
we haven't gone for a boxcar? You see, we ought to get a boxcar because they pay 30 to 1.
There's the little lady knows her odds. You want to play boxcars, honey?
Yes, they're the highest odds on the table. The most money that you can win is on boxcars.
That's it. Everything on boxcars. All right, everything on boxcars. Here we go. 30 to 1 on boxcars.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, now what do we want?
Come on. There it is. 19 the winner. Little lady, I'm sorry, but I've got to leave. But I want to tell you that from your gambling, you're a real thoroughbred.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kelsey.
All right. So the at the end there, what happens is the high roller, he promised Lucy that if she was able to get him all the way back for his trip, make all his money back, he would give her all of his profits.
Right.
And so the big joke at the end is his profits are $5.
Right.
And so Lucy and Vivian just have $5.
They take their $5 and then they go to some tray where there's food and they're stuffing food in their pockets.
You're right, at the end. Right,
yeah,
yes,
they're
yes.
stuffing food in their pockets.
Yeah. The thing that I think is impressive about this clip is that the writer obviously knew the game of craps.
Right. He had all the odds right and everything. Now 5 19s in a row.
Well, okay, what happened was pretty unrealistic.
Right.
But for a 1960s sitcom, to be this accurate, especially with craps, is pretty impressive.
And a lot of times when they don't do a good job, they just say winner, you know.
Yeah, or
and
it doesn't, right.
Yeah, they, it doesn't even flow right.
Right, it doesn't make sense, or their bets, or but it very realistic. Other than if you actually watch the clip, Lucy is using both hands to roll the dice, which they wouldn't have allowed. But so anyway, that's that clip from the Lucy show. So thanks again, Mary and Rosina.
Lucy was great.
You like Lucy?
I've always loved Lucy, and here's why. She wasn't just funny. Her personality was funny and everything, but the slapstick, there was always a certain amount of slapstick to her comedy. And then just the way she delivered everything.
Yeah. I'm not a big Lucy fan, but I certainly acknowledge her importance to television comedy, the sitcom in particular.
Well, her and Desi were perfect.
Yeah, a great combination.
Because he was so straight and narrow, and she was so goofy and everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for PayPal donations. We got a donation from Jarek, Erickson, Naders, and Robert. A karma donation for a trip to downtown Vegas in March. Our fingers are crossed that you might be in town the same time. Thanks for all the hard work. Love the podcast. Unfortunately, no, we don't have any plans to go to Las Vegas in March.
No, we're going to be there in April, right?
We're going to be in Atlantic City in April. And then we're going to be in Vegas. We're going to in May. Yes. Yeah.
Although that's our plans. I might be there in March. You never know.
That's true. In fact, I was asking, when are you going to Vegas next? And you weren't exactly sure.
There's actually no plans.
So thanks again, guys. Yeah. Hey, be sure to check out the TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike?
We've had a great year, Mark. And you know what's funny? It's not just our gambling out at RenCon and stuff. We've been winning at sports betting. We've been winning on the horses.
I know. Yeah.
Thanks to you, you've been picking winners.
It's so funny because, we've been talking about it. I've been talking about it to my wife, and I'm not really saying anything new. I just want to talk more about it.
Right.
Hey, we won. Yeah, we really have to relish this because eventually, think of all the times when we've complained about how incredibly bad it is. It's like, how could it be this bad?
Which goes to the point that we always make, for all those good times, there's going to be the bad times. And for all those bad times, the good times are coming.
Yes. Right.
So you kind of have to hang in there and bide your time.
Bide your time. Be responsible and bide your time.
But be responsible, bide your time. God, I wished I could live up to that.
Yeah. You're biding your time, but I don't know how responsible you've been.
And football season's winding down, so I'm not even going to say anything about it.
Okay.
You just tell me who's going to be in the Super Bowl and who's going to win.
Oh, all right. No, I'm going to tell you off mic.
Okay.
Because I don't want this to be out there in the internet for everybody to hear. It's probably going to be completely wrong. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mike, Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.